Well. Good afternoon. And I'd like to welcome everyone to my little studio here. You're in Net Eyes. Your little studio. We're going to go over a little photography lesson, brief today, a little how I do what I do for the JAG. And what we do is, and speaking of photography, there's several levels of photography. A lot of people do photography work with their iPhones, which can be done. You're limited at what you can do. Some of us have more sophisticated cameras, we might say. I use what we call a single lens reflex, where we're able to change lens from one camera to the other camera. I use it extensively. I use it for photography, portrait painting. I use it sports photography. I shoot for the newspaper from time to time. I shoot for several periodicals. I do a lot of private shooting. I used to do weddings. I try to limit myself from weddings because I don't like doing them. And the reason I don't like doing weddings anymore is everybody is now a photographer. When you're trying to shoot a wedding, everyone have cameras. And sometimes it's the hardest thing in the world if you don't separate yourself and do your photography work earlier. Most of the time these days, you have to specialize in your work, and you have to do certain things that's just going to help you. Take, for instance, when you're shooting groups, I generally tend to shoot them alone. Get the groups in, do my shots before the crowd comes in. And the reason for that being, when the crowd gets there, you're trying to set your scenery together. You're getting everyone composed. You have your picture composed, people placed where you want. Then everybody's camera comes out, and one person is looking this way, one person is waving up this way, one person, and heads are going 1,000,001 directions. So what we try to do now as photographers is shoot our group shots either ahead of time, or what I generally do, most of the time I'll get the wedding parties into the reception area, do my shots, and then let the crowds in. We'll hold the crowd out until I've completed my shots. And then once I've completed my shots, we bring the crowds in. Just some of the things. But this is a single lens reflex camera. This happens to be a Nikon. I've been shooting Nikons for years and years and years. They are very rugged, they're steadfast. I love them. I have dropped them. I have worked in the rain. I have worked in the snow. They're still reliable. I do have a few, sometimes I have a little breakage, and I have, as right here, I broke a my SB door, the door for my SB. So I just put a piece of tape on it until I can get to, that's for my SD card. So until I can get it, my door replaced, I just put a piece of black tape on it, and no one knows the difference. Interchangeable lens. I can take this lens off. I can put this lens on, and oftentimes we're doing it in a hurry, and so we can shoot bang, 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 whatever it is I'm shooting. There are several tricks to what we do. But photography can be a very profitable business. It's not as profitable as it used to be. Again, for the same reason I mentioned earlier, everybody is a photographer. So sometimes the shots that you're trying to sell, someone's already reproduced them. They were going down to the Walmart or someplace, shot it with their phone camera, and then they've already reproduced your camera. When that happens, in many cases, when I'm shooting some of the weddings or some of the activities, well, The clients don't see fit to buy the photographs. They have one already. They have a copy. A lot of times they're not looking for the quality. They're looking for the first shot they get. So it's a lot of tricks to it. It's a lot of hard work. But if you're good, if you're steadfast, you can make it work. That's the beauty of it. And as far as my photography work is concerned, photography for me is an art. That's one other reason I don't necessarily like shooting weddings. I like shooting what I see. I do a lot of what I call from the road. I'll jump in my car and ride and just shoot sceneries. And in my next video, I'll show you, I'll have blow up several of my photographs, and so I can present some of my road work. That's what I call it, road work art. I brought a photograph here today. This was one I shot, I guess 15, 20 years ago. No, about not quite that long, about 15 years ago maybe. That's my son when he was Little League football. He played for the Saints, and I'm gonna whoop 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 because they won the championship that year. So this is one of their huddles before their championship game, as a matter of fact. And I shot this one, as I say, 15 years ago. I have several more around the area. I didn't get them out because I was putting this studio together today to see how it would work. I wanted to make a presentation for JAG because I want my JAG students to know, okay, you can create. You can create anything in the world that you want to create. You have to have the mind for it. You have to have the intuitive. You have to be the steadfast, and you have to have tenacity, meaning that you have to just stick to it. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you choose to do, go for it. Another area, and I have to go back inside and get it, are the drones. There was some question about drones. I do fly drones. I really enjoy. There's a lots of profit to be made in drones because it's relatively a new area. But the problem is, at this point in time, you have to get certified to fly these drones. You can't just, you can fly them. Excuse me, that diabetics, my mouth get dry. You can fly them on your own, it's no problem. But when you get to the point where you're gonna fly them and earn money with them, do commercial work or whatever, you have to have licenses. So you would have to apply for licenses, take classes, pay for your licenses. So there are some things involved with flying drones. But as far as flying them and the photography and the artwork that you have that accompanies a drone, oh, I have shot some magnificent shots all around the area with the drone. You just have to be wary of what you're doing. You have to be careful. Crashes are inevitable, as I've crashed mine a couple times. And the last time I crashed, I broke it up pretty good because actually I've crashed into a fence. My drone has sensors to let me know, object sensors, so when it got close to the objects, it would slow down or stop and not proceed. But be honest with you, I was chasing a cat through the field, and I wasn't really paying attention, and there was a fence. And when it came to that fence, not thinking, the sensors didn't read the fence because it's so open. And it went right into that fence. And when it hit that fence, propellers went one way, part of the leg went another way. The gimbal broke apart, and the gimbal is what controls the camera. It balances the camera so that you can get a good balance shot. So the gimbal fell. So I really crashed my zone pretty good. So that's a learning experience for me, and I'm in the process of purchasing another drone. It's going to take me a little while. I have to save that money, man. That money ain't easy to come by, and they are relatively expensive for a good drone. You would be looking in the price range $1,200, $1,500, $1,800 for a good drone. But there's money to be made. It's a relatively new field. There's business and lots of people using drones. And if you're interested, I'm going to put another piece together where we're going to look closer at drones, look at some of the work that comes from flying drones as I'll put some pieces together for the photography. Okay, how do we put this photography together? What do you do? What is a single lens reflex? How does it work? What do you do with it? What is this? This is a telephoto lens, long range lens. I can shoot with this lens almost across the length of a football field. When I'm in the gym shooting a basketball game, I can shoot from the other side of the gym. There's a lot of pluses. I shot on last Friday, I was shooting a track meet. So I'm able to shoot that track meet and bring them in close as they're running and crossing the finish line. So that's the advantage of a telephoto lens. This smaller lens, this just a fixed lens. It's 55 millimeter and 18 to 55 that zooms in and out. So it zooms small to a wider area. Okay, just depending on what type of work I'm trying to use. But again, on my next film, I'll have some videos that I can show you, or I'll have some photographs that I can show you what the different lens lengths are, how to use them. Use them in weddings, use them for portrait photography. There's 1,000,001 different ways you can use these things. So this is just my introduction video to cameras and the workings of photography. I hope you enjoy it. I'm a little nervous. This is my first one, number 1, volume 1. So please excuse me, work with me, and they'll get better. That I promise you. You have a beautiful evening, and God bless. Thank you.